Rama said, Lord, during the cosmic dissolution, this world which is clearly seen now, where does it go? So Ram's concerned about the cosmic dissolution, which might seem a rather strange thing to be concerned about, but it's often, as we found previously, it's often seen as a precursor to liberation, or as part of liberation. The world dissolves, and I think it is more accurate to say really that notions of the world dissolve, and the question can then be asked, how does the liberated one relate to what people normally regard as the world? And when we think the phrase cosmic dissolution is quite a grand perspective. We think in terms of the end of the universe. It dissolves into some kind of thermal static, some kind of homogeneous thermal static, and that certainly isn't what's meant by cosmic dissolution here. It's actually about another way of relating to what is referred to as the world. Anyway, let's have a look at Vasistha's reply. Vasistha said, From where does the son of a barren woman come, and where does he go? A barren woman's son has no existence ever. Even so, this world as such has no existence ever. This analogy baffles you only because you have taken the existence of the world for granted. So, in a way, the world is like a barren woman's son. The barren woman's son comes into the story quite a lot, and I think the term creates a little bit of cognitive dissonance, doesn't it? You're trying to imagine the barren woman's son, but the phrase itself embodies a contradiction. The language allows us to talk of the barren woman's son, but the barren woman's son can't possibly exist, even though we can talk about him. And this, in a way, is what talking about the world is like. Consider this. Is there a braceletness in the golden bracelet? Is it not just gold? In other words, if you've got a golden bracelet, we call it a bracelet, but it is gold, it's shaped gold. Is there something inherently braceletful about the gold? Braceletful. Is there some essential braceletness about the bracelet? There isn't actually, it's a temporary form. Is there a thing called sky independent of the emptiness? We think of sky as spacious, of having massive capacity. Can there be such a thing called sky independent of its capacity? Even so, there is no thing called the world independent of Brahman, the Absolute. Just as coldness is inseparable from ice, what is called the world is inseparable from Brahman. So I think it's sort of seeing the world like the bracelet here, and there is nothing intrinsically worldly about the world. It is only Brahman. Water in the mirage does not come into being and go out of existence. Even so, this world does not come out of the Absolute, nor does it go anywhere. So you see a mirage and it looks like an oasis of water. But that water doesn't come into being and it doesn't go out of being. The creation of the world has no cause, and therefore it has had no beginning. It does not exist even now. How can it reach destruction? In other words, how can it dissolve? How does this world dissolve? So the spiritual, Rama, the spiritual inquirer, is asking, well, how does this world dissolve? Where does it go to? Well, the thing is, it's like the water in the mirage, it didn't ever happen in the first place. There's a word that the Buddhists use, it's Tathata, and it's often translated as suchness, the suchness of things, or the is-ness. Something just is. But what we like to know is what is intrinsic to our nature is to ask why something is. We have a lot of trouble just accepting that something is. We're naturally curious, it's part of how we've evolved and all the rest of it. For whatever reason, we have an inclination to ask why. And I think that this inclination is where Rama's question about cosmic dissolution and the whole notion of creation. Why did all this why did all this happen? Why did creation arise? So Rama's asking these questions, but really there's no why, and everything just is in its suchness. So I think that I quite like this word Tathata.